Well, hello racing fans, and welcome to our Gallop TV preview show for Thursday the 10th of October. We're at the Vaal, and let's see what's on offer before we say hello to Alistair Cohen. The Vaal race meeting has 8 races carded, and the first race is at 12:15. And if you want to play the big one, the pick 6, you need to get on by 13:25. So that's what's on the go. I trust that you may be having a fair week if you played at Hollywoodbets Durbanville and, of course, Hollywoodbets Greyville Tuesday and Wednesday. And maybe you can cap it off with 3 on the bounce, a nice profitable 3 in a row for you. But this race meeting, Alistair just telling me off air, it is a highly competitive card, and you'll do well to try and catch some exotics. Alistair, that's your take on the race card. It looks like a day where you feel dividends should pay well, and good day to you.
Good day, Dees. Good day to all the viewers. Yes, if you catch one exotic, my recommendation would be whatever exotic or whatever bet you specialize in, stick to that bet on this card. You'll probably have to play it conservatively and load up in a few places, more often than not probably, but just one exotic, one caught big bet will set you up for the rest of the week, maybe even the rest of the month. Dividends are going to be very, very high. That is obviously the draw. That's the allure on this Thursday card out at the Vaal. And perhaps the angle here, Dees, is that by the time the first race gets underway, Betway Summer Cup entries should be made known. Those entries closed on Wednesday at 11 o'clock, so there'll be quite a few. I'm not an anti-post player, but there are lots who are. There'll be quite a few that will be looking for a few doubles, trebles for the next 6 to 8 weeks or so till the last Saturday of November into the Betway Summer Cup, and then various other events that might be coming up. So use the tools that you've been given. It's not a full toolbox on this Thursday card, but it's some tools, and if it works out, boy, you're going to know about it.
Fractional betting, multiply that perm out, and maybe it's going to be the dividend that you want on this Thursday. Maiden plate 1200 meters, race number 1. We'll kick off the bipod. We'll bring up the field, have a look at betting horses in single figures. Number 5 at 4-1. Horse number 6 at 7-1. Number 11 is at 4-1. 12 at 7-1. 13 at 11-2. 14 at 8-1. And 15 at 5-1. Yeah, you know what's really nice to see is these horses now coming out and debuting. We see a flood of them in the Western Cape that come from big yards and smaller yards as well, but the majority seem to be in the Western Cape. But really nice to see Sean Terry, and you'll see a few of the other yards start stepping out their horses that didn't run as juveniles. Sean's got 2 in the race. They're both fillies. I don't know if any of these first-timers grab your attention here, Alistair, because I see Billy Reuters also has got Lloyd Wright, a son of Futura. But this is the style of Sean Terry and a few other stables that just give them a bit more time, those that need it, and they turn out to be good 3-year-olds.
Yeah, Sean has always sort of split his stock when it comes to age groups. You know, those that are forward and precocious, he's not afraid to get them going in November, December, i.e. Proceed, who was crown champion 2-year-old Colt Gelding of last season. But he's also not one to rush them if they're not in a position to be rushed. And he normally sits. Look, it's nice when you have a string of 50-plus 2-year-olds in your yard where you can afford to do it. But he's known to also sit on a few horses that he thinks might be above average horses. I mean, this is probably a bad example, but think back to Wendy Wood over a decade ago, maybe close to 20 years ago. Wendy Wood only made her debut, I think, in February as a 3-year-old, and then she was soon after that a Grade 1 winner in the Willavington, and there are numerous other examples, perhaps not quite in the same light as Wendy Wood, but a lot of other horses that Sean sat on started as a 3-year-old, and they went on to win feature races. The interesting thing I can tell you about Green Street D's, actually, no, let me start off with the first border call like I do with racing on the Vaal original course. There is no false rail anywhere. So the track should be running even. It's a wide racetrack to use. If you run into any traffic problems on this day, then you are really on the hard luck side. So I don't really have much of a gauge which side would be preferred. That probably adds to the complexities of this card. Judging by the last time they raced on the Vaal original track and there was no false rail about a month ago, the high number draws were favoured, but it wasn't to say that the inside was totally dead. Now, I've gone 5 horses in my bar pot, which is my suggested bet on the show. About the first time, number 13, Green Street. Not that I've heard a whisper. The mare is out of her grandmother is Trinity House, who's the mayor of Vercingetorix. So there's a little bit of something to work with. Craig Zaki takes her out. High number draw for this daughter. Give me the green light. Watch the market. If she goes cold in the market, then maybe that's a sign that I might be on the wrong track. But if there is a little bit of interest, then number 13, Green Street, becomes all the more interesting in quite a strong maiden. Other horses that I've got a lot of time for, there was a little bit of early support to number 5, Antonio Gaudi. He's got form that suggests a win's going to be just around the corner. Tabelo Mazzaniani takes her out for Robin Klaasen. 6 Spy Story goes, and I wouldn't ordinarily go for this horse, D's, but just the fact that Muzieni back from Singapore on what has got to be one of his top 20 at worst achievements, riding the last ever winner at Cranji. St. John Gray's yard is absolutely flying at the moment. This horse has come to hand, typical St. John Gray stunt, 3rd run after a rest. Expect better. He wouldn't be my top choice, but I think he'll go well enough and maybe sneak into 2nd. 12 Tokyo Medaglia comes back from a layoff, but does bring some pretty good form lines into the picture. It's a peace treaty. And then number 15, Quasi Cat. Even though there has been one direct winner from that form line, I think overall that's going to be a shallow form. She's drawn towards the inside. Being a filly, she gets a weight allowance, but running 2nd on debut behind Mother City, as far as jumping off the page is concerned, that does make appeal. So I've gone 5 horses, leaving no page unturned when it comes to the opening leg of the bar pot, D's.
Okay, 5, 6, 12, 13, and 15. And I must concur with Alistair Cohen. I don't think top 20, maybe top 5 of Muzieni's achievements. And whatever happens with the archives and the history of racing in Singapore, whether it is going to be a museum or a Hall of Fame, however they try to, just put it down as history, well, Muzi is going to be their etch forever as a winner of that Gold Cup, the last one in Singapore. And what an achievement that is, just to get that done on your CV. Race number 2, 1,200 meters, maiden plate for fillies and mares. It's the start of the place accumulator, and this is how they're betting. Number 1 at 8-1, horse number 4 at 33-10, 5 is an 8-1. There is money here. I'm talking about these first timers, 9, and that is 7-1 into 4-1. 12 is trading at 5-2, and that's the runner that I like, Alec Laird's runner. The fact that the form line has been franked with Mike de Kock's runner coming out to win, and 1,200 meters. I don't know how many horses for your place accumulator, but you mentioned that your suggested bet is the bar pot. There is some form to work around. I'm going to go as far as to say Zalta Star could be a PA banker.
I would back her up with number 9, Jabura, D's. Unlike the first time in race 1, not that I've heard from source, but I have heard that this is not too bad, Jabura, the daughter of One World out of Barberton Daisy. Craig Zaki takes her out for Sean Tarry. Does she have to be too smart to win? No. Does she have to be any good at all to run into the top 3 for PA purposes? No. Sadly, I only heard about her chances at Hollywoodbets Durbanville after I sent through these selections for the Thursday meeting. So that just enhanced the feeling that it might set up for a first-timer to do a little bit of business here. So number 9, Jabera, watch out for her. There has, as you mentioned, been a bit of support for her, and there is, I'd say it's a whisper for now, but there might be a loud noise about her come race time. Number 9, Jabera. You're right, of the race runners, 2 and 12 are the backup as far as the bar pot is concerned, but number 12, Zolta Star, clearly a stronger selection than number 2, Bilingual. Caden Brewer takes her out for Alec Laird. Big improvement from run 1 to run 2. As you mentioned, form line franked with the de Kock horse coming out and winning over the weekend. I thought that Zolta Star, she ran fairly well on debut as well behind Francillion, who I'd go out on a limb to say is probably the best bet on the card when we get to the very, very back of this card. So yeah, she sets up as a serious winning chance. And then number 2, Bilingual. I don't know how that form's going to work out behind Palace Dancer. I don't think it will, but she is well overdue, this daughter of Willow Magic. She's no great shake. She gets Raymond Danielson on board, this daughter of Willow Magic. I've got her in as backup because I think that she'll run a reasonable race if they're going towards the inside as set fair. One observation that I want to make, this is Brett Crawford's first runner on the Halfveld this season, and the former number 1 Duchess of Seville. This is a bit of a dichotomy, what I'm going to say. I'm sidestepping all of the Crawford horses in Joburg on this card because I reckon that they're all going to need a run, except for Kindred Hearts, who I think is good enough to win off a lighter weight, but we'll get there when we get there. But Crawford's card on Saturday at Turffontein, he's the key man on Saturday. So I'll be watching all of these Crawford horses on Thursday very, very closely. If there's a bloody nose at the end of Thursday's meeting at the Vaal, I might change my stance. But as it stands, before horses run in anger at the Vaal on Thursday, Crawford's your key on Saturday. Look at all his horses very closely.
That's race number 2 for Alistair Cohen. Then we go on to the big one, which is the Pick 6, 1325. It's a merit-rated 80 handicap over 1,000 meters. And number 1 is at 33-10. Horse number 2 at 8-1. Number 3 at 7-2. The very quick John Wick. Number 4 is at 3-1. Scratched is number 5. 6 at 9-2. 7 at 7-1. And 9 is an 8-1 shot. This horse, John Wick, he's a sweetie individual, and it's a 50% win strike rate that Pierce shares with trainer Fabian Habib, but he hasn't ridden this horse before. I think he could be the right man for the job. Not that anybody else who's won on this horse in the past has done anything wrong, but Pierre could judge it to the T on a quick horse. But again, you mentioned the draws at the top of the show, and you continue to mention it as we go race by race. If it is favoured to the outside, then this could be the horse, Alistair.
So this is what I'm going to recommend, Deez. As it stands, 2 winning chances for me. Pick 6, Vaal, Place Accumulator, they're numbers 1 and 3. But if we see huge action towards the outside, then number 4, John Wick, does get included. I don't like the fact that he got penalised for being a loser last time behind Don't Shoot the Barman, and also on the run to Secret Chord when he was beaten by Secret Chord. Secret Chord's got him held to stay in front of number 4, John Wick. So I'm not particularly mad about Secret Chord because since then he's been running well, but sort of going in the wrong direction on the back of that penalty. So that's why I'm most keen on numbers 1 and 3. Even though Longsword hasn't won for a while, he's down in class. He carried lightweight last time behind Open Highway. He ran okay with horses that are just simply better than this at this level. I think that he's got a say under Gavin Lorena. But number 3, Chieftain, for me is the most interesting horse in the race. It won't be easy of 61 kilos, but most of the field are compressed at the weights, with considering that you go down to number 6 and that's carrying 58.5. There's some light weights, but for me they deserve the light weights. First run is a gelding for the son of Vercingestrix, ran within 5 lengths of Proceed in the Protea Stakes last time out. He went to Hollywoodbets Scottsville, beat Trippy T. That's a horse that took a while to win, but has maintained some consistent form. I think number 3, Chieftain, if the gelding's done any amount of justice for this horse, I think he could be better than a 93, or in this case, a net 82. I think he'll be well ahead of that mark. So he's the most interesting horse for me. He's the horse that I'm going to tip on top, number 3, Chieftain, but with backup coming from number 1, Longsword. As it stands, they're the only 2 horses I want to know about. But like I said, if there is serious action in the first 2 races towards the outside, then John Wick will get thrown into the pick 6. Use that to your advantage.
Okay, you were spot on with the layoff and the way you thought things were going to map out for Mia Moo over the weekend. So well done with that. And maybe you could be onto something here with number 3, Chieftain, because that layoff was on the 27th of April. We'll call it 5.5 months, but as you said, gelding, and we'll see how he goes. Number 3, Chieftain. 1 and 3 for Chieftain, but just keep an eye on races 1 and 2. If the outside going seems to be, more favored, and then number 4, John Wick, will have to be considered in leg 1 of that pick 6, along with Alistair Cohen's numbers 1 and 3. Race number 4, Jackpot 1, 1,400 meters. Number 1 is at 33-10. Horse number 2 at 28-10. 3 at 4-1. 5 at 4-1. And then we have, double figures, the balance. This race is a C division class. There is... I'm not going to say lots of form to go around, but it's muddling form that could come to the fore here, Alistair, because any of these horses are, capable of possibly popping up and winning this. I wouldn't be surprised with any type of result. It looks like a nice, quartet trifecta race with the minimum spend.
I think it's probably easier to eliminate late horses in this race, D's, then motivate their chances. I think we can, as wouldn't normally be my style, but I'm not keen on numbers 8, 9, and 10 here. Number 10, Affiliate Against Boys, good run to Salinio Peninsula when receiving weight, but I don't like that. 9, Global Impact just seems to be off colour of late. I don't like Whispers of War down the straight of the Vaal much. I think that he's a better horse on the inside track at Turffontein. So I'm prepared to write them off. 6, Galadorn, just because of the Crawford horses all coming from a break. I'll sidestep him today, although I'd ordinarily like him in this race. So I think that probably narrows it down, or it definitely narrows it down, but is it still going to make it any easier? No. 1, 3, 5, and 7 are my leading protagonists here. Let's start with number 1, Champion Warrior. First run down the Vaal straight. I have an inkling that he's going to absolutely love it. Pierce Stratham takes it out for Sean Tarry. He started life with a bang with Brett Crawford, winning his first 2 races. He looked like he was going to certainly be a lot better than what he's done. He's done nothing since he hasn't won in 2 years as number 1 Champion Warrior. Like I said, if he takes to the Vaal straight, and I think he's got the game to do it, then he could very, very easily make this field look ordinary because he's good enough to. He's down from a 97 down to an 81 now. Number 3, Foster Nova, also hasn't won in a while. Craig Zaki rides for Johan Janssen van Vuren on the form to Mount Pinatubo. He's half a kilo better off, but 3 lengths to number 1 Champion Warrior. So mathematically, he shouldn't close that deficit. But I think with Zaki on board this time, you can expect better from number 3 Foster Nova. 5 Key News, untapped, drawn towards the inside. If that's going well, then he becomes dangerous. If it's not, then maybe come back to fight another day. And number 7 Laughing William is wildly inconsistent. Look at his numbers. You cannot get an honest gauge of the son of William Longsword. He's doing very well at home. Dennis Schwarz gets on well with him. Both Gavin Larena and Dennis have said that going down the Vaal straight is probably what he's looking for. So his last run down the Vaal straight was awful, but he was drawn on the wrong side of the course that day. This time around, he's worth another chance, but he's definitely not one to trust because, as you can see, there's 1 good run, 1 bad run. But if a sequence is to be believed, there may be a good runs in the pipeline here.
Okay, Alistair's giving you some numbers, but he's giving you some eliminations, which helps. Yeah, this horse, Champion Warrior, if you told me when he started off his career, Brett Crawford, that he's going to be a 2-time winner as a 5-year-old, I would have said never. He would have possibly been, maybe a 4 or 5-time winner. I really had high hopes for him when he started off his career. It just shows how the careers of horses can turn out. Some can go south, north, east, west, however it turns out. But for Champion Warrior, it's unbelievable. 729 days since he's last won, and that was his 2nd career win. Now with Sean Terry. Race number 5, 2,000 meters. Number 1 at 3-1. Horse number 4 at 5-1. 5 is at 7-1. 6 and 7 are 4-1. 2 is a scratching. 8 at 8-1. And 9, Guy Alexander, is a 4-1 shot. How about Caliburnia, Fani Bronkhorst? I'm leaning towards that as my roving banker, maybe even a place accumulator banker. And I like the place accumulator on the day, Alistair. And this is our horse that I'm going to possibly banker in the PA.
I must confess, I was a short head away from bankering him in my bar pot. So yes, he probably would qualify as a place accumulator banker. The deep draw is the only thing that put me off, but I like the fact that he's over 2,000 meters because he does have, it's not a very long turn of foot, but he does have a good turn of foot, which probably allows him to be able to see out this distance. Raymond Danielson takes it out for Fani Bronkhorst. The son of Quarari has been finishing off his races very nicely. He's been consistent. He's overdue a win. The flag bearer form is very interesting in this race because Guy Alexander, Caliburn and Full Go all come out of that form. The weight suggests that Guy Alexander should be able to keep them at bay, but I worry about Guy Alexander in that he's had absolutely every chance and just can't put races to bed, whereas Caliburn's always coming from behind him, and I get the impression the extra 200 meters Caliburn will run past number 9 Guy Alexander. That's just the way that I read it. So he is my top choice. I backed him up with number 8 Full Go. Karatila Kajedi takes the right here for Billy Races. Karatila's ridden this horse to 2 wins from 5 runs. Yeah, the handicapper may have just caught up with him for those 2 wins, taking him up to a 60 in the space of 2 wins, and his form has kind of stagnated as a result. But I think that he's worth another chance, number 8 Full Go, so he'll be my backup. 6 and 7 for me in the buy pot. 7 and 8 for me in the buy pot. Number 7 a banker in the PA. In the pick 6, I probably would include the maiden, number 6, Panning Gold, under striker. We've seen a few maidens on Cape Town at Class 4 level and Class 5 level, rather, at Cape D Stakes level. They well and truly doing the business. This is very, very similar to that type of level, MR71. So not impossible number 6, Panning Gold, gets into the race. However, he has conspired to be his own worst enemy. He's caught the eye on a few occasions. He's run with much better than this, and he's run with class that might even be a little bit worse than this and not got the job done. For me, if he does do something, it's all going to be up to Pierce Stradham, if he can sort of lift this horse up across the line.
Well, that is it. 7 and 8 for Alistair Cohn. He does give the maiden a mention, and Pierre will be plus 1 kg. Yeah, horses got their ratings, and you can run them wherever you wish. A maiden in a D division class. Alistair mentioned it is done in the Western Cape. I don't know what's the percentage of success, but I suspect that if you work it out, not many run, but whether it is a high percentage or not, well, that's an exercise for somebody to conduct out there. But number 6, Panning Gold, is the maiden against winners. And if you're playing wide in the pick 6, well, that could be a nice result for you, as a suggestion from Alistair Cohn for backup with numbers 7 and 8. Race number 6, 1,200 meters, fillies and mares, 94B division class. Bring up the field, number 1 at 9-2, horse number 2 at 5-1. Then we go on to number 3 at 8-1, 4 at 6-1, 6 is an 8-1 shot, 7 at 6-1, number 8 at 5-1, and then it's double figures the balance. I just want to pay compliments to a trainer here, Alistair, who is Joe Soma, just on his achievement over the weekend. He's achieved a lot in his career, Joe, but, well done to the yard on Saturday with a second and a win in the feature races, and his stable seems to be in very good form. And just judging by your selections over the last few months or so, there are certain stables that you've picked out that will come on after that break, and one of them was Joe Soma. You've been including his horses.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of life's greatest mysteries, Dees, is how Joe Soma has done what he's done with such a small string. And I think a lot of it is by choice of Joe, but he's had, for the horses he's trained, the amount of Grade 1 winners, feature race winners, and the achievements that he's had. Take a bow, Joe. Again on Saturday, showing his mettle at the Betway Joburg Spring Challenge with Back in Business, who, for me, cannot possibly miss the Allied Steel Road on a mission mile. What I've seen, the fact that he's been capped by the handicapper, we'll cross that bridge on the 2nd of November, but I think that he's going to go on that sort of middle distance streak in Joburg, the Betway Spring Spree, the Betway Joburg Spring Challenge, and then into the Allied Steel Road on a mission mile. Brilliant, Joe. And then Fiery Pegasus running a huge race and defeat in the fillies and mares race. No mean feat being beaten by Celtic Rumours. If she was ever going to pick up a nice Grade 2 feature, it probably would have been that 1450. But Fiery Pegasus will have her feature race day in the sun. So brilliant from Joe. Take a bow. And I actually give number 2 in the beginning a bit of a squeak here, but I'm just very sceptical about that line of form from the Ladies Stakes, where the party under sufferance won. The second horse, Blue Horizon, was also badly under sufferance and has done nothing since, on the back of a hefty penalty, which was warranted by running under sufferance and running her career best. So interesting runner number 2 in the beginning. Left her out of the bipod. These are my 2 horses in the bipod. I might have played a little bit thin. Numbers 1 and 6. Call Me When You Need Me, by far the best horse in the race. The last time she ran in a handicap, she beat Second Breath, who she meets again. She should beat Second Breath again. Trent Mayhew, 2.5, absolute gold at the moment. Her 2 runs out of a handicap were good. Penultimate starts in the middle stakes behind Kian the Conqueror was fair, but then last time I think she just ran with much, much better horses and left with a bit of credit, beaten 2.5 lengths behind former Grade 2 winner Give Me a Shot. So number 1, Call Me When You Need Me, with 59.5 kilos on her back. Hopefully the outsider's playing well, then she is my top choice. 6, Kindred Heart, with no weight on her back, with 52 kilos, the daughter of Erupt. She was tested at a very high level during KZN's winter season. She's probably not quite that level, but her best runs do bring her into the picture here, and I think that she is dangerous off a lightweight. So I'm holding it to 2 horses. My numbers I'll bracket with those 2 horses as backup would be number 2 in the beginning and number 8, Second Breath. And maybe also have a look at number 4, Francine. I don't particularly like her, but the Aussies can bring horses back from long layoffs and do well with them. So it wouldn't be my style, but I'd have a good long think about number 4, Francine. probably not go with her at the end of it all. But I think she's got ability at her best to be dangerous here.
You heard Alistair mention that there will be an assessment after a race at the Vaal on Thursday with regards to Brett Crawford runners, and then he'll make a stance on the weekend on what is expected, because they do have the likes of Francis Ethel and of course Winchester Mansion. So we'll see how these Crawford runners come out on Thursday at the Vaal. But he's giving you 2 runners there, and it's either you're going to play it short or you're going to possibly try and include as many as possible there in race number 6. Race number 7, now I'm taking a big, bold stance in what looks to be a very good race for the racing enthusiasts, because I think this is going to be a proper race. Number 1 is at 6-1, number 2 at 8-1, horse number 7 at 6-1, 8 at 6-1, 9 is at 7-1. Then we got horse number 10 at 8-1, Brave Viking Joe Sama. We've been talking about his achievements. That horse has been back 10-1 into 7-1. Chase Mozine, I see, has picked up the ride on the reserve runner, number 17. And that is it. Alistair, my place accumulator, this is a race where I actually don't want to, if I'm out, I'm out. I don't want to multiply the perm out here. And I'm going to go with the confidence of both the combination of horse and rider, and of course horse and trainer, and that is Argo Alley, because Muzi is unbeaten on this horse. For him to go 5 from 5 would be something, but top 3, I'm going to say PA Banker for me, number 8, Argo Alley. I'm just purely going on the high confidence that both horse and jockey are in.
Dees, we haven't discussed this. I find this race absolute nightmare. And for me to give you all the winning chances and the reasons why they can and can't, that would be an absolutely futile exercise. So what I am going to do is I'm going to go in order of preference, and you're going to be shocked. 8, Argo Alley, top choice.
Top.
Blinkers on. If they're playing towards the inside, 8 Argo Alley becomes an even more confident selection. I did not like him one bit going into his last start, coming back from a 9-month layoff, but he beat Bloomington. He got a £2 penalty for that, which I think is very, very kind from the handicapper. This horse was once rated 105. He's down to a 93. He's probably got something in hand, and as you say, jockey-trainer combination absolutely flying. On the run in the Spring Spree, the Betway Spring Spree, there are 3 horses that come out of that form. It was obviously very well franked over the weekend. Silent War finished in front of Shire Varna and Fire and Flames. Silent War should hold that form, so for me he's got a winning chance as well. He was very strongly fancied in the Grand Heritage, the World Sports Betting Grand Heritage, at the end of 2023. It's probably the unluckiest horse in the race. He finished 2.5 lengths behind Unzen. With a little bit more luck, he may have even got the job done. So I think a lot of these horses, by the way, are prepping for the Grand Heritage. This could be a window to the future. 7 Pomodoro's Jet, top horse, too short for me, so I'll watch, and if he stays on strongly, he'll be a horse that I'll be interested in going into the future. So my third choice becomes number 11, Passage of Power, who I really liked last time out, finished 3rd behind Open Highway. Caden Brewer takes her out for Fabian Habib. I think Fabian placed this horse cleverly on his first 2 starts on the half felt, took the tongue tie off, ran better to Open Highway. At the weights, he's got every opportunity of turning that form around. I think he will. And then number 9, Jury's Out, always gives up his best. He'll have a fighting chance as well. He likes it down the Vaal straight. Beaten by Master Christmas last time. Master Christmas is rated higher than Jury's Out now, so that's how that form has worked out, and he will have a say as well. So for me, in order of preference, 8, 1, 11, 9, and 10. But if you threw any name at me right now, I wouldn't be able to write them off.
Argo Alley, Banker. I like that fact that Alistair Cohen has rubber stamped us in a big way. Place accumulator, we all in there. In or out? Race number 7, horse number 8. Race 8, 1,200 meters, fillies and mares, a 74 handicap, and we close things off in the 8th race. We're running in the PA. Argo Alley has finished in top 3. Now we are sitting with a healthy dividend to be won. How are we going to be playing it if we get it right? Number 1 at 18-10, number 3 at 22-10, horse number 5 at 6-1, 6 is at 7-1, and then it is double figures, the balance. This race, Alistair, we always talk about how we're going to judge these horses out the maiden. Some of us leave them alone, watch them run. Others will get a mention. Some will grab your attention that have to be followed out the maidens, wherever positioned by their respective yards. What's your take on these recent maiden winners, numbers 1 and 3?
These I'm taking straight line exactors. 1 by 6. Francillion, I think, it was well above average. Gavin Lorena takes her out for Lucky Hurlakas at her home course. I know that at the weights, Palace Dancer is 1 kilogram better off for the 1 length beating, but for me, Francillion's got any amount of scope to improve. I like the way she hit the line. She ran past Palace Dancer, made her look pretty ordinary. I know it was Palace Dancer's first run, so she might have come on with that run under the belt, and she's had a win in between. But beating Black Hole Sun for me is just probably not enough. I think Francillion could end up being a number of rungs up the ladder higher. She should be a number of rungs up the ladder further than this in a few months' time, and I think that she will win. The horse that I've gone in as backup is number 6, Gimme the Flame, who dropped in distance last time to 1100 meters and was desperately unlucky not to finish in front of Smelting. I know that we've gone from the 7-year-old mare Smelting, who's now a 2-time winner from about 80 starts, to the 3-year-old number 1 Francillion, who could be a 2-time winner from 3 starts at the end. But Gimme the Flame was got less weight to carry, 53 kilograms. And what I saw last time, she might now have what it takes to be dangerous in a sprint, which she certainly has what it takes to be dangerous in a sprint, as she showed last time. So 1 from 6 for me, straight line exactor, and I would bank her in the place accumulator, bank her in the pick 6, bank her in the second jackpot, number 1 Francillion. I'm very confident.
Oh, well, that's it. You've made it easy for the perm that I was going to take in that last race for the place accumulator. I'm going to go with you. You were stiff over the weekend, Alistair. In the last leg of that pick 6, you played that perm. I thought it was the winning perm going into that last leg. But nevertheless, we got a good run for our money. And considering the results on the day, especially the beginning of that perm where you went short, you played it to the tee, it was a proper dividend. Wow, that dividend over the weekend for that pick 6. I know that they didn't get to their estimate of 5 million, but nevertheless, racing alongside Hollywoodbets Durbanville, fancied results, and then results that were, not wow results, not big results. I thought that pick 6 paid well over the weekend.
Indeed, that is the power of big numbers being invested into the tote as well. I mean, yes, you're right. We fell $1.5 million short of the estimate of 5 million, but still 3.5 million rand in that pick 6 pool. And with all that money that was put into the pot and punters fighting out for their share of that pool, I mean, that just goes to show the power of getting big numbers into the pools and giving punters every opportunity to play for big money. I mean, look, are the pools on this card going to be record-breaking? No, but you want to be playing into a pick 6. I mean, look, to compare before COVID, obviously things were slightly different, but to be going into a pick 6 on this card of, say, 750,000 rand, punters licked their lips. They got an opportunity, and like we said at the top of the show, the exotics are going to pay very, very handsomely here. So if it's your day, you'll never forget Thursday, the 10th of October. And if you did catch that pick 6, you're 100% right. You'll be turning around and saying, how on earth did it pay that much? We've done very, very well for ourselves.
Let's get into your exotic, and you've mentioned that your choice of bet for this race meeting is going to be the bar pot.
Yep, which starts on race number 1 at 12:15, so earlier start than usual. 5 horses on the first day, 5 Antonio Gaudi, 6 Spy Story, 12 Tokyo Medallia, 13 Green Street, and 15 Quasi Cat. By 2 horses on the second leg, I might eliminate one of the runners come the time to play that perm, but 2 Bilingual, that's the horse that's sort of on the tightrope with Gabera, number 9, and number 12 Zolta Star. By 1 and 3 Longsword and Chieftain. By 1, 3, 5, and 7 Champion Warrior, Foster Novo, Key News, and Laughing William. By 7 and 8 Caliburn and Full Go, and then the final leg numbers 1 and 6 Call Me When You Need Me and Kindred Heart. These, I think, if we get past race 3, I think that bar pot arrives.
Okay, Alistair Cohen, very confident. Just going to go past leg number 3 in that bar pot. And that is it, Alistair. Thanks for your time, your valuable time. I know you're a busy man, but I know that you love doing these previews from inception. And thank you for all the hard work behind the scenes and for trying your best to point our valued racing fans in the right direction. Thank you so much.
Thank you, DZ. I must be honest, I absolutely love doing these previews. Keeps my eye in, and obviously listen to everything that you guys at KZN do, Graham in Cape Town and Grant and PE. These previews are an absolute institution, and it's an absolute pleasure to be part of the team and to be imparting sometimes good knowledge, sometimes bad knowledge to all the viewers. It's an absolute pleasure, and love doing it, and really looking forward to Saturday. That I think could be the day.
Okay, that is it. The book is out. It's Saturday at the Big T, and of course, it's a double header as it was last week with Hollywoodbets Durbanville, and then we race at Hollywoodbets Greyville. But that's all to come over the weekend. Thanks to Alistair Cohen on behalf of the Gallop TV team, Alistair Cohen, myself, Dees Dine, and to you, the valued racing fan. Thank you for your invaluable spend of the tote. It is the engine that drives the industry, and maybe on Thursday it could be a nice day to celebrate a big win. As Alistair Cohen mentioned, he's of the opinion that it could be a day to chase the exotics. Until we meet again, you take care. Salani Gaste.